to thank His Excellency the President for the message on the state of the nation that he has just delivered. Mr. Speaker, I need to remind you that the people of Ghana have already given their verdict on the true state of the nation. And that verdict was very, very clear. Economic hardship, huge debt overhang, high youth unemployment, hopelessness, and more.
And you are thanking him for this.
We have come to the end of the road for what has been undoubtedly the worst government under the Fourth Republic. Right, Honourable Speaker, this abysmal record was confirmed on December 7th when the people of Ghana returned the most overwhelming and emphatic vote of rejection of any government ever witnessed under the Fourth Republic. Mr. President, you will be remembered as the first president who was cushioned by the IMF when you began, and you are still being cushioned at the end of your term. Mr. President, you left something very important in your account. You left out an account of your promise to God to build him a cathedral. But Mr. President, Mr. President, I will leave that for you, between you and your God. Mr. President, let me remind His Excellency, Honourable Speaker, that his tenure in office will remain a timely reminder of how not to govern the country. But let me also be quick to assure the good people of Ghana that hope is on its way. In President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC, we can once again glean a brighter future from the throes of despair. Together we will work hard to lift ourselves from this historic low and reclaim our place, our glory as the Black Star of Africa once again. Fellow Ghanaians, we are comforted and strengthened by the following words of Scripture. And I'm quoting Exodus chapter 14, verse 13. And I quote, "And Moses said unto the people, Fear you not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, you shall see them no more." Bye-bye, Mr. President. It is finished. With that, Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much.
If you're a right-winger, you're angry at the government. This is a right-wing obsession, as you know. Anything goes wrong, it's the government. It's a wonderful arrangement for big business. Wonderful. Over the last 5 years of crisis, for example, the overwhelming majority of people who've been fired from their job have been fired by a private capitalist employer. And the overwhelming majority of people who've been thrown out of their home by foreclosure had the foreclosure process begun by a private capitalist bank. And who are the people angry at? The government. They leap right over the people who actually screwed them to blame someone else. If I were a corporate executive or a banker, I'd be very pleased with a system like this. I kick you, you get angry at somebody else. I kick you again, you get me more angry at them. This is wonderful. Why should I ever stop kicking you? Or maybe it's immigrants, or foreigners, or terrorists, or Muslims, or who knows? Scapegoats. And the left, not to be outdone, no better able to understand system despite what it says, has its scapegoats. The bankers, the Federal Reserve, the big businessmen, or the government, ever there, only now in reverse. The government didn't regulate enough. The government didn't do enough. It's the Whoa, everything else other than an analysis of the system. The problem is the system, the way we relate to one another in producing goods and services, in distributing them, in parceling out the income that our output enables us to have. Oh, no, no. We're not going to look at all those relationships. Taboo. We look for scapegoats. And it shows up not only in the way we think, looking for who the bad guys are, right-wing bad guys, left-wing bad guys, we beat each other up over who the real bad guy is. Left-wing newspapers say it's not the poor people. Right-wing newspapers say it is the poor people. And then we have long debates about whether it is or it isn't the poor people. This is bizarre. And if there is no systemic critique, then there needs to be no systemic response. Nobody is going to say, change the system, because that's a taboo.
Sitting under their powers, every recommendation they make is advisory. There is no conclusion or resolution of the National Economic Council that binds the president. Just like the way special advisor will advise the president. And your duty stops when the advice is given. He must not follow your advice, that you make available your opinion regarding a matter. So when we don't understand that, that's where we begin to have a problem, where you have manipulation. The Economic Council consisting of the governors. How many governors do we have in Nigeria? There are 36, right? Probably if you add the FCT minister, there are 37. How many population of Nigerians do we have? Over 220 million.
But these are representatives of the people, right?
Yes, but we have seen also how states are governed, with laws and bills that are antithetical to the people, and without mentioning a particular state. For example, I can give you an example of a state that I know in Nigeria that collect heavy tax on keke nape people. And the tax they collect from the people, if you subtract it from what the people earn, it is more or less like you're working as a slave. What's the difference between that taxation and the fears that you have about the tax system at the federal level?
Yeah, you are correct. Okay, it's advisory. The president doesn't have to take the advice. However, for something such as this, this is one of the, big policies that would make a big impact on the country. So right. You want to see the president as being someone that listens. Mm-hmm. And the tax reform bill is an executive bill, and the vice president presided over the NEC right. meeting that requested it be withdrawn. Will you then say that the president and the vice president are not on the same page? Because
really.
There's also...
So you can preside over a meeting that will arrive at a conclusion, and it is not suggestive that you led the resolution. Of course, if you study corporate governance, you know that board meetings and resolution are arrived at by popular votes. When majority of the people agree to go this way, even you who is presiding, if you're going the other way, it means you have to follow the majority. So it would be wrong to conclude that because the council or the advisory council met and they arrived at something, that it is suggestive that the vice president made them arrive at that. That's one. Number two, Section 5 of the Constitution says the executive powers of the Federation lies in the president. The entire executive powers, which is executing the laws of Nigeria and administering the government of the Federation. But in that Section 5, it says he exercised that power either by himself or through the vice president or to the ministers of the government of the Federation or other officers. So the power lies in him. And he can tell you, do it for me, do this other one, do it, right? That's one side. The second side, and which is the argument of the president, is don't throw the baby with the bad water. So the conclusion of the council is suggestive of throw the baby with the bad water, because they said withdraw it for consultation. No, it should have been this bill should now be subjected to deliberation. So the president's reaction to that is he said, no, take it to the National Assembly. Our own side as executive is to sponsor a bill. But the law recognizes a body in Nigeria that deliberate and they make the laws. So ultimately, at the end of the day, we will arrive at that.
Are you stepping down for Alaji Atiku?
That's the second part. You see, I was highly disappointed
with him because I saw his interview. Even though it was not as bad as people, his supporters were going around to say I was. He didn't say anyone, me or Peter was step down for him. What he said from the video that I saw was that he's talking to us, and that's not correct. Except for here in Lagos when I came to do the Arise debate or town hall meeting. Since I left PDP, I've not seen Atiku eye to eye. And I refuse to talk to anybody. Because you see, the only thing remaining for PDP and APC now is propaganda.
The governor of Kaduna State, Nasiru El-Rufai, is someone that is never afraid of tackling burning issues amid the situation arising from scarcity of Naira notes. Governor El-Rufai has appealed to citizens to caution against joining protests over shortage of cash and attendant hardship. The governor, who insisted that fifth columnists are behind the crisis to scuttle APC's chances in the 2023 elections, assured residents that legal means are being explored to resolve the crisis. Let's share the story.
I had advanced intelligence that protests will start in Kaduna tomorrow, Wednesday. I'm appealing to all of you not to join the protests or engage in any violence. Let us know who our enemy is. Our enemy is not us. Our enemy are those fifth columnists in the villa working with Godwin Emefiele to bring this country down. And they will fail. This is a deliberate conspiracy against the APC as the ruling party to be blamed for these difficulties. And this is why we came out and revealed what was going on. And the role of the central bank governor as the evil genius behind this conspiracy. He is being used by some elements that want to bring this republic down. They want to bring this democracy down. They want to cause breakdown of law and order. Why are we expected to change 3 trillion in a matter of weeks? And then you print only 300 billion worth of notes, unless you want to create a crisis. Why would you do that? Only 34% of Nigerians have bank accounts. Only 9% of Nigerians used digital platforms for their transactions. You think that you'll move 34% and 9% to 100% overnight?
Some are saying Ganduje actually spoke the minds of Tinubu, who vented his anger last week, saying some people want to sabotage my...
I think the problem for APC is exactly the problem that we raised in that Arewa Joint committee in Kaduna. If you remember, I asked Tinubu, how are you going to handle this legacy of the president?
Yes.
Because you are going to ask people to vote for APC. No matter what you do, you're going to have a problem explaining to people that you're a continuation of the Buhari administration.
Yes.
Now, so APC has this big challenge. How far should it move away from the president, and how close should it get to the president?
Wow.
And finally, I think Tinubu last week maybe took stock of all these unpopular anti-people policies or developments, anti-people developments arising from either an administration that doesn't care, or the level of incompetence is so intense that people are, the cost of living, the fuel shortage, the Naira exchange at all this time, and what appears to be an insensitive government. And Tinubu said, I know what this is. This is a ploy to get me unelected.
Yes.
Because people will get angry and they will not vote for me because I'm APC.
Yes.
And he said, somebody is planning all these things. Later, of course, he
they
made
tried to,
attempts to say that is not what I meant. But we all know this thing. Whichever way you spin it, the APC, the Tinubu's legacy is going to be, Tinubu's prospects are going to be affected by the records of President Buhari.
Okay, by the record of the
revenue bill as submitted to the National Assembly cannot stand the test of time because the revenue bill has gone contrary to some provisions of the Constitution. It is within the province of the federal government or any state government or local government to create an idea of expanding its revenue base. But the sharing of the revenue is not the responsibility of the federal government nor that of the National Assembly.
Okay.
It is of the National Assembly to the extent that when they look at the sharing, they will have to change the Constitution by going round so that they remove the authority of the revenue mobilization from that province. That has not been done. And to say, let's do more consultation so that people comment on this matter, I don't think it is a negation or a disrespect or even whatever against the president. It is not. This is our country. If the president presents anything, and we, the people of Nigeria, say no, I'm coming. We, the people of Nigeria, say no. We should be, our views should be respected because the president and the governors and members of the National Assembly are there because we put them there. So they should respect our views.
What the president essentially is doing is trying to pull all the resources to the southwest, particularly Lagos. Many of the oil companies are in Niger Delta, are in the Delta region. That's where they have their operations. But their headquarters are in Lagos. They pay VAT to Lagos. Dangote is paying VAT in Lagos with his factories in the north. What has Lagos done to earn that? So Lagos is getting all of that money. And now you're saying, oh yeah, that money is ours, that money is ours. No, it isn't. Lagos is what it is today thanks to Nigeria's Commonwealth. All the infrastructures were built by Nigerian Commonwealth. The ports, the bridges, the everything. If anybody asks you, you must pay. So people need to be sensible. There is this thing they call in the old Zulu adage, Ubuntu. You are who you are because of me. It's common humanity. Northern governors met in Kaduna to talk about VAT. Oh, and they want to accrue more money. Let me say that they were not there for God and country or for the region. They were collecting there because they're not going to get more money. So this selfishness, oh, it's me, it's me, it's me, and the president is following that, it's raising antenna alarm in the north. To all that, yes, and the president has sent a bill. To the House about his tax reform. That is his right as the executive. But it is the right of our representatives, and we are watching them very closely. It is the right of our representatives to fight for us and kill that bill if it does not do well for the people they are representing. End of story. There is no argument. There is no argument. This is what democracy is. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on his own cannot do things without reverting back to the House. And we have our representatives there that we will hold accountable.
Let's overcome our fears. Let us see how economic reforms as being unfolded can be a new opportunity for us to reset, reconfigure, and reshape the economy of our region. Insult, abuses, innuendos, and all sorts of tantrums being thrown to a bill like this will not help us. And for those of us who are representing the people, it is time for you to study the bill. I've seen a senator on TV talking about this reform. It's clear that he doesn't even read what is in the content of it. They just rumble and talk to sentiment. And how can that help?
You asked. Any Nigerian who is still hanging around waiting for 2023 to change Nigeria is a fool. Line 20 Daily Faro me up and ask them to become president of Nigeria. 20 of me, 20. Multiply their brain power by 10, factor of 10, and then force them to operate the 1999 Constitution with the governance system that is enshrined in it. We shall fail spectacularly. The problem of Nigeria can never be resolved by personnel changes. The system is designed with impunity undergirding it, and it can never deliver anything positive to the Nigerian peoples. Be those Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Fulani, whatever they care to be. Make an Igbo man president of Nigeria in 2023 and force him to operate the 1999 Constitution. Complete waste of time. Igbo will continue to suffer the brunt of the wickedness of the Nigerian state. Every Nigerian is rendered stateless by the 1999 Constitution. It is an iniquitous, wicked, and evil document. It has nothing good for the Nigerian people. And the longer we continue to fool ourselves believing, and let me enter one quick caveat. Our rulers are actually very intelligent when they care to be, especially when it comes to their own preservation. And I know as a fact that they're already making noises about restructuring in Abuja. The Mace Snatcher and the Lawan and that one that calls himself Baja, all of them are sat there running helter-skelter, cobbling together some lies that they intend to sell to us as constitutional, what do they call it, amendment. Let's be clear. You cannot continue to build on top of lies. You can't sustain that lie. And as long as justice is missing in a place, you continue to have strife. We need to tell ourselves the truth, and that truth is that the closest we can come to normalcy in Nigeria is to have a return to the original agreements that founded this country. Those agreements are very clear in their fundamentals. One of them, federal system. Nigeria is today not a federal system. Let's stop lying to ourselves. The word federal was brought to life by the American election. Each state has its own electoral body because it is essentially a country within a larger country. That was what our fathers agreed. Nobody agreed a situation where a clueless man will sit down inside a rock and begin to issue edicts and diktats to every other person. Nobody signed on for that in 1960. All the constitutional conferences, beginning from 1948 all the way to the 1951, all the way to 1960, each and every one of them was very clear and unambiguous. Nigeria was meant to be a federal system based on parliamentary democracy. It wasn't by accident that our fathers settled on parliamentary democracy. They wanted to make democracy as close to the people as it could be. So it simply meant that if you're a parliamentarian, you knew your people knew you. It was the aggregation of the parliamentarians that determined who became the prime minister, and they were also the ones at the regional level who determined who became the premier. So democracy was devolved. It was easier for the people to become involved. What we have today is not a democracy. What we have today is not a federation. We've just become a nation of liars who readily accept every lie that we are told.
Salamu alaikum. Kama sanu da zuwa an gaishe ku. Yau I already forget what I said. Yo, Za, God damn. She's a barani, za better the show you nan the Hausa ko za ci gaba kai. Shame on me. Shame on me. Shame on me. Me that I'm advocating for Hausa to be national language. I am struggling to kick off a show with Hausa. I think that's something else. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to All on Our Politics. Today, we shall talk about what I don't dey advocate for a million years now. The first time I raised the issue of the need for us to teach English was in 1822. That was the first time I raised that issue. I raised that for street, but nobody wants to listen. Some people could not reason behind their nose. Anyway, Hausa language should replace English as instruction medium in northern schools. I like the fact that the guy go hard. I remember my sovereignty peace, Governor Akeredolu of Ondo, started to, I think there's a Yoruba national anthem or something that when became a national conversation. The Lagos State said that in their constitution every Friday they would carry out their section at the National House of Assembly, the State House of Assembly, with Yoruba, if I'm not mistaken. But this guy right here, this my nigga right here, Governor Bago, eh, said that Hausa should be the order of the day, not just for one small thing, not just for weddings alone, not just for a party, not just for a state out of assembly, but for the whole northern region. But that's not the point for me. The point that is it should be the instrument of education. That's for me. That's it. That's a step. That's a step. That is a step of taking what belongs to us back. But there's a but in that conversation because it's no longer a secret that the Fulani is conquered the north, right? The Fulani is conquered the north. But can that be even be said that they conquered the north if the number one language is still Hausa? Because you conquer person, you don't want to do anything. I mean, I never hear anywhere where they conquer people and that language of those people they conquer still exists. If there's anywhere, if somebody should let me know. But Hausa. Now, my next question is: the Hausas in Nigeria are conquered by the Fulanis. Fine. What about the Hausas in Ghana? Those in Central African Republic, those in Cameroon, those who conquer them? What's their story? Now these kind things won't make me the worker for Africa. Won't make me go worker for the whole continent to just put some things together, draw some kind of put one or two points together to make sense of actually where we are, where we are now. Anyway, the Niger State Governor Muhammad Umar Bago has called on northern governors to revamp the region educational system by adopting Hausa as the primary language of instruction in schools. Man, that's a no-brainer. For me, that guy right there is the governor of the year. I don't think anybody will bring out anything that will be even though it's not in there, it's not even it's not a bill, it's not something, but the fact that somebody in his position is coming out with a loud microphone to say it, that's a win. That nigga has won the governor of the freaking year. Now, some people go say, oh, maybe that because they could not get much out from the tax bill. This is why. But however you want to read this, as after Sharia law being adopted in 7 states in the north, I think this is the closest, biggest move, if not bigger. If they actually succeeded in doing that, uh, I had 20 more children and 7 of them go school for now. Now, speaking at the National Library, no literary colloquium in Mina, marking the 60th birthday of literary icon BM Zokagi, Governor Bago suggested that English should be taught solely as a school subject. Of course, it's supposed to be. Remember, they can't kite. Man, these people, they really deal with us. They can't even come make our own language be secondary, just be subject. And some people could not even see anything wrong with that. Anyway, I mean, my Spanish class. My Spanish class after I had to reverse it come. She doesn't make sense, man. I speak a foreign language already. Why do I have to spend money buying textbook and coming to class and learn? No, I don't need the shit. Anyway, that's a combo for another day. So, so English should be read as a subject, solely as a subject, rather than a medium of instruction in primary and secondary school across the northern Nigeria. Should be across the whole freaking country. If you don't want Hausa to be language, bring your own command. Let's let the two language compete. We'll go for referendum, go for vote. Any language that has immediate vote, we implement them into law. Shikena, I think that's for me. That's how I should do it. Hausa should be the national language. If you no agree, go to court or go to the polls. Anyway, Bago argued that introducing Hausa as a language of instruction would enhance students' understanding, improving enrollment rates, and addressing the high cost numbers of out of school children in the region. I think this is one argument I've never seen anybody make, and this is spot fucking on. No, like I never thought of that. Maybe just because I've narrowed my own focus on saying that if you introduce sport athletics back to schools, that will motivate and inspire or encourage students to not just go back to school or stay in school. I think I won the argument, but this argument right here that if we are using local language to teach, it will increase enrollment. Kids will be more interested to go and have fun and just fuck around. I think it's a fucking great argument. That's the argument that is a standalone argument that can actually make us do away with English as our national language. I think that language alone should stand alone. But make it implement that. Let's see. Imagine if they actually end up. Make I know they even imagine self. I think they will go for it. I'm encouraging them to go for it. I will support any senator, any house of rep that will actually push that bill through their house. That Hausa should be the national language as far as I'm concerned. I said if you no agree, bring your language come, make the contest. But if that is far anything too far too soon, say the region now. I think I don't have anything wrong. I don't have anything against that, man. It's a welcome development. It's a freaking welcome development. Then we will now measure how it will help students in terms of performance, in terms of ability to apply what they learn locally and within their immediate environment, um, ability for them to actually have a more constructive conversation argument. And I will see if it's going to help, if it's going to actually encourage skill people to also go back to school. The governor said that adopting Hausa as the language of instruction in northern schools could significantly enhance the learning experience. That's a proven fact. Promote enrollment and foster a deeper understanding of subjects among pupils and students. 100%. 100%. The people where they speak English, they know. They know. But if, for the fact that it took us this long for us to start, I mean, a lot of people know about that. But those who are in the power of authority start speaking out loud, I think, let's just start giving them for the fact that I take that, come out boldly with that. I give it to him. The governor further emphasized that such a policy shift could bridge gaps in learning and reducing the dropout rate in northern Nigeria, where educational challenge persists. I mean, I want to see this thing as a bill. This guy is making fucking sense, as far as I'm concerned. I just want to see this as a bill. If the other part of the country want to drug their leg for grand, if they want continue to subject their power to other, I mean, who doesn't even understand that language is power? That's fucking crazy. Every group, in fact, once you done the form group, once you done the join form union, don't they go from you to another person? They begin to develop code of communication. There's a reason why. There's a reason why at every group, no matter how small it is, even once you don't pass one person, they go begin use code to communicate. Even twins use codes to communicate. That's language. Why? There's a reason why. It's fucking crazy that a world that we live in today that is so partisan, that is so identity, that is so competitive. I mean, capitalism spirit has taken over everybody now. The best, the best, the best. When we stand here and practice a language that no freaking other person understand other than you and the people you are involved with in this time of the country. So, as far as I'm concerned, Bago, I'll visit you soon. I will buy beer for you drink. The challenge we face is that many children cannot fully understand the lesson when taught in English. 100%. Not be only Nigeria said. Across the globe. I don't know of England. I never go to England before. Now their native language, so. But from some people comprehension, understanding of things, make me question even the street language for England. How did they speak out? A language that they're not familiar with. By using Hausa as a medium of instruction, we could make learning more accessible and improve academic outcome. He added. This guy no book. This guy no book. As I said, governor of the year. This guy is governor of the year already. Making so much sense. In addition to advocating for the use of local language, Bago urged parents to play a more active role in their children's education. Correct. He highlighted the importance of investing in books and educational resources to foster a culture of reading and critical thinking among young people. Promoting a reading culture is essential for saving future generations from their current social challenge. So that guy right there, that guy deserves a noble peace. I mean, no, not be peace. This one will be noble laureate anyway. But for just taking the conversation to another level, it's a fact that we have millions of house of children from the north. It's a fact that we they criticize them that they can. Let's meet them halfway, which I've always been saying. It's a give and take of a thing. You know, Nigeria was criticizing the fact that the Almajiri school system is of no use to the nation. To which I question that kind of reasoning, but I understand. Not to Nigeria. How do you have almost make I even minimize the number 50 million people living in a country, and you say that kind of education is not benefited? That education is serving those 50 million. If now only that 50 million the Alimari system they they serve. Now we'll debate that. But if now only those 50 million or 10% of that 50 million they serve, that is doing his job. That is doing excellently well for Nigeria. So the idea that everybody across the globe have to see things and do it the same way is where again the spirit of conqueror is still hovering around us. So Bago is freaking spot on. So they learn better when you teach them in their mother tongue, in their native language. That not be even rocket science at all. It helps to preserve your culture and heritage at a time whereby everything is disappearing. Even our artifacts, we see this, they want do a graduate for us. So the one that they cannot take away from you, why got you just capitalize on that and even sell it to the world? Hausa is the second largest speaking language in Africa after Swahili. So history there. But for the fact that the Fulani conquered that region, but they could not change the language, that's something I'm curious about. Something there's something. Anyway, it increased accessibility too. It promotes the Hausa language culture, help preserve the regional heritage and identity. Using Hausa as a medium of instruction can make education more accessible. It make all those points. Now, some arguments will be against that. Now, the drawbacks, I would say, disadvantage and in the national and international competition. No one will take care of that. AI has come to stay. So I don't understand why people are worried about just because you cannot speak or understand your language, you stand a chance. You don't stand a chance of competition. That's what they call AI. I mean, I don't know if people are familiar with Lex Freeman podcast. We interview Putin. No, sorry, Zelensky. I mean, Zelensky. I mean, what be that guy name? The president of Ukraine. They speak their language, Russian there, but we where they listen, it comes to us in English, straight up. Even when it was with him, let's say that interview uh, this current president of Argentina. So I don't see why people are just because you cannot understand one language, you don't start a chat. No, AI you get instant interpretation. So see that argument die on arrival. Yeah, limited resources and infrastructure to implement Hausa as a medium of exchange. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. That's my problem again with this generation, especially these old people. Then, huh? It's over. If they don't born you, you are alive. It's no longer about you. It's no longer about you because all you have is what 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50, 60 years, like too long to 80 years, and that's it. So it's not about you. When people they think about we have limited infrastructure and resources to but we can start with what we have right now and build on it. Yeah, it's going to require significant investments. Isn't that within the resources there for if you have it? Investing in it instead of you to go and buy property in Dubai and every other place that they do. The decision to replace Hausa with to replace English with Hausa as a medium of instruction in the north require careful consideration. I don't care, man. This guy make profoundly argument to back what he is proposing for. This is due time, man. It's our time. It has overdue. So he's my governor of the year. But the question I have is the Fulani conquer the north, conquer Hausa people, but they could not displace their language. That's one. The Hausas in Ghana who conquered them, what's their story? Two. Those ones in Central African Republic, those ones in Cameroon. A lot of Hausa people spans across the continent. What's their story? That is a journey I will take on when I dey waka for continent of Africa. They ask, they find out what happened. Where are we? Where we were, we were, we were, we were, we were, we the way we are. So I will not be surprised if my Yoruba folks come up with their own too. And that's what we want. The start is hold their side strong. See, that's the structure go they come by five first. Last, everybody will go their way. Let every region implement their language. And before you ask me, where you now wake up for Sasa, which people in their language. Anyone who they give us, will take up at this point. If not Benin, I be the dominant one. Voila. there's no, there's no too much back and forth on that one. I will get if na Ikwere, if na whatever language that Yoruba. Come on, that's a good question. Sir. Within the Niger Delta, which language is kind of larger or more influential within the Niger Delta? Now Benin no even dey influence for Edo like that. Sef. These are people they oppress them small. uh, Robo, Robo loud for data. Robo take number one for data. Let me go state by state, then I'll compare. Robo win for data. Shey win for Edo. I've been a Benin sef. Wait, why? Shey win. I've been a Edo. A Benin win for Edo. Then we go to Rivers. Rivers na Ikwere. I've been a Igbo sef. I won't find trouble. Ekenemedike. Oh my, which language carry the day for Rivers? I want to believe in Ikwere now, but I think the Igbo language will dey aside for that corner too. Then I think Akwa Ibom and all that. All we know say na Calabar, but shame on me. I know to know more the other languages within the Niger Delta like that. But I think the competition to which language should the Niger Delta adopt? I mean, the Southern people should adopt. Na pidgin. Now we hold that one down. We will just refine down. We hold land down. So I am rooting for the North. I know say the middle belt people, the North Center, they go, they don't go one hear wetin that they talk so, but share. You are the minority, so sit your hands and look. You can only have your say, cry. That's it. That's all you all can do. But at this point, I'm rooting for the Hausa to be the order of the day in the north. And so will be. I want the Yoruba people to kick off. Akeredolu, na man you be. See, now you for feel respond, swiftly. So I want the Yorubas to take over the medium of learning in their school as Yoruba too, and the Igbo should go the same thing. You see, we don't they move apart gradually. Imagine we have three strong languages in that country. But as I said, with the south side, we will take PG English, we'll land down. Now, on a more serious note, it's a welcome development. I am one person that don't really understand why we are still speaking English. Now, one weapon where they take conquer us is one of the strongest weapons they use to conquer us, to make us they be like Mumu as we do today. So, when you change people language, It's a confusion. It's struggling. Imagine, just because say you sabi speak another man language, say na English, you cannot do wrong again. 99% of our broadcasters, our TV, when they come on our TV, our job, our all the journalists they get category. I'm talking about the writers, all these are presenters. Most of them are just because the all they have is that they have the good command of the English language. That's it. Nothing else. If you hold them down, begin go down to substance while I go day, because everything that they read down for they write down for them. So pay attention to pretty much all of, not just in Nigeria, by the way. When you dey listen to them Joe Rogan people like with their personal opinion, you're like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Or the Patrick Ben David them. When you listen to their personal opinion, you're like, shut the fuck up. So now one weapon that they are still using to keep us where we are today. Now they say beat us in the first place. But we are now proud. Just the same thing. Everything that they use in the form of disguise. People they when I hear people they criticize people they give they are supporting China for doing what they are doing in Africa. They build infrastructure, all those kind of things. They are not making it your affairs. That for that, oh, they should be the one which you pay attention to, not the West. I was like, how dumb are you? All these kind of people with the reason like this. Why are they reasoning so poorly? When the West first they come to us, are they were they not that benevolent? No, no, be so they go. They build us. They were building schools, building cathedrals, building. They support everything. That was what they were. Make them go. That's why history is important. When be they run him out the brass saying don't return school back to what do you call them? What did that mean? That is because those are the just like as the Chinese are building roads, one bed, one road, building road, building airport, building everything. That's exactly when the West were coming to us. Exactly what they were giving us. They were enticing us to their economic system. The Soviet Union were doing the same thing. The socialists were Ajakuta still and them build them. So people nobody say they forget. They not just they read their own history. Nobody say even far. These are the tales of 60s, 70s, 80s. Now David, I think that David I see they always parry that thing. The Chinese. They don't like nigga, you just who you they work for? Now the question I don't know why. Anytime I see that guy, I ask who is this guy working for? Because it's just so obvious that man, he has no clue what he talks about at times. But my point here is the Chinese refuse to let go of what makes them unique and special, which is their language, and infuse them with anything that was thrown at them. When I see current Prime Minister of India, they conduct interview with his language, their language with one of their journalists, I was mesmerized. Just the way that they communicate, they learn. It's a no-brainer. Change everything. So by the time the Chinese do all this, their goody, they can't succeed. Maybe in the next 50 to 100 years, they conquer, they overthrow America and everything. What do you think they are going to do? They go change them for you. This is get time to they come here, no. That makes things easier for them. So just because they are doing good now the same thing those that came before them did too. It's all to buy into your bring them in into where they are not supposed to. Very soon now. Now people will come out and oppose they will come out and oppose this Hausa being the instrument of medium of instruction in school. But I guarantee you, me knows that within the next 10 years, we will see Chinese language as an official language in one form or the other in Nigeria. In one form or the other in Nigeria. Either they lobby to enter our curriculum for school, who they teach them as a subject, just like as Bago they say English should be a subject, not instrument of instruction, but it should be a subject on its own. I would not be surprised. China as a language will be in our curriculum, either in school or some church, one way or the other that will make it official, and people will applaud it. Language is power. People don't get it. Those way they in diaspora. We get kids and siblings and friends. We wanna go there outside. When a tense situation, also can she rap when I go your boss, when I broke the code. Begin speak language, and automatically you could see how everything changed within that environment. The kind power where it will give you immediately is unexplainable. Just, just put kids. Make them dey their natural stage. They communicate. You go see the way they know pass wetin they suppose know. But it come easy. There are some things that the way you go take explain am, it takes you to another thing, especially if you are looking for a solution. If you are looking for a solution to something. The language of your working and your explanation has a lot to do with how fast and how well you get to the result.
One of the greatest selling points of Edo as a state is our very rich cultural heritage. The Benin Empire is domiciled in the state. And it's unfortunate that for the past 8 years, we have had a governor who has not leveraged on this historical reality. Rather, his actions have tended to create division and disrespect. In Senator Monday Okpebolo, we have a young man who appreciates tradition, who appreciates that in his state we have an Oba whose reign dates back to decades and centuries. And he has shown so much respect to our Oba. And that is why for many of us, we also believe that he deserves our respect. A governor who has divided our state by disrespect for tradition cannot be the kind of governor that will be suggesting to us who will succeed him. Edo State needs a governor that understands the tradition of our people, that respects traditional institutions, because we are nothing without our heritage. We want a governor that will continue in that mode, that will show respect, that will be able to communicate with our people. Not a governor who can be fluent in other languages, but in our own languages cannot speak the language. That's an insult to us as a people. That is why we take pride in the nativity of our candidate. When people want to deride him, we're happy, because we see him as an Edo man. And Edo men have nothing to be ashamed about. We have a rich culture. And in the new government we are bringing to pass, we are hoping that that culture can become the beginning of a new renaissance, can be a springboard to bring our people, even in the diaspora, to come back home with joy and invest in the upliftment of our state and kingdom. Our candidate is loyal to the Benin people, is loyal to the palace. And we pray that God will continue to keep our Oba. Oba Atokbe is
Najaman, you say wetin dey happen for Benin? Sure. Wetin no go happen for Benin na? Wetin no go happen for Edo? Edo na Lagos, Edo na Abuja. Anything wey dey happen for Edo, na wetin dey happen for Lagos be that too. Na wetin dey happen for Abuja. Why is you a worried? Make I speak my. Why is you a worried? Young man, why is you a worried? Don't worry about it, man. Everything is going on well. Just focus. 2028. Focus. Leave them. They will do what they need there. Do what is needed to be done. Not them. Not be them. Not be party need all they change. No fear. All is well. You have to defend your power. When you win power, you have to defend it. That the second part, wait till you no talk for that. Then grab it and run with it with that. The other part of the conversation na defender. You have to defend it in the last day. So it's just the beginning. But I want you to be focused. Remain focused. 2028, the election. That's it. So whatever they are doing in tribunal, they shoot themselves, they destroy everything. Young man, it's part of the process. It's part of the process. We are at that stage. It's part of the process. Yeah? It's a story. No, I remember it. I don't just say Nigeria as a story. It is a developing story. So it is on our turn to either improve on that story. I never want to more. We are already in it. So the tribunal scattered as I saw the headlines. So I get what you are saying. No, these are just the answer the way they answer. I know what you talk. Tribunal is supposed to start doing now for us where they men we get states. Men we get the states. No, come. You are this is distraction. We have a governor in power. Allow it to work. You see? So I don't know what is nothing dey happen for there. Na the usual thing. You understand? Na that same thing wey make them kidnap Chinamba for Anambra. That same thing wey I mean, it's the same whole shit. So we see. Just don't die in their war. According to Delivery TV. Leave my guy. Why you just say come? Why how you just say wetin be him name? Tony Kabaka go take defending his mandate. You give am job, you no go secure him job. What are you talking about? Niger man, that's why you cannot play at that level. If you want to play at that level, it's different. It's a different. The rules are the rules of play. They different at that level. So you see they go on so pass your play grade, just sit down and watch and enjoy. It will come to pass. It will come to pass. So if you say na Benin they wan sweep for inside that court now, all this thing no go dey na. So say na Benin they take do that election, so say na Benin language they take do our election. Eh? Eh? Na Benin they run this. We for no dey do like this though. So they go use grammar court take confuse you. They tell you say na beavers. Beavers. Even though this na abbreviation of some bullshit. Tell me wetin e be for Benin. Then we start the journey. We see say everything will begin make sense. So what I saw happening there is I see people want to defend their mandates by power, by fire. Every means necessary. Let's go there. That's what you are saying. So say now if you disturb the guy now when they see try to settle down and make you get something. Once you don't settle down, once they don't settle down finish, it don't finish for you. I'm talking about even your opponent now. So they'll be okay. None of them come from abroad. None of them be diaspora. Na their house. Now you be diaspora looking in, now make it they shock you. To them na normal. You watch us say, shey, they will sue Donald Trump inauguration at 20 Abi. You go see some kind. Well, I don't say that different, but you will see some protests, some all those kind part of electoral democracy. Portable say now, wow, woo. So let's chillers, and enjoy it while it lasts. They'll be friends. We go see them for one wedding, all they watch. All of them they carry guns, so they carry cutlass. They pursue themselves. They go see invited. They're not going to invite you for the party. You'll be left outside. Don't be surprised. All those guys where they run, the guy. Now there you go see for they represent youth for Bini for the conference where they organize. So don't be. They are good people. Those are good people. They are fighting for their interests. You understand? Now the same level they show Mr. Omori. Oh, guy Fante, he move. So it be like that. Now the grammar where they speak, now they cause her. So let's go with Let's go with Governor Bago and implement it and see all this violence go relax. You just imagine say all those boys dey do anyhow for that course and na one year we all come out. Say year we all begin throw away deep knowledge. You go weak now. But on a serious note, my brother, na dem know wetin dem dey fight for. Na dem know na dem. It's not home and away. It's not Edo Delta or Edo Lagos or na dem. They know wetin dem dey fight for. They know how much they invest. They know how much they go gain. That's the driving force of all that. They are not doing all that because they actually have any good intention for the state or for the people. No, those who put them there financially, their interest is more paramount. So that's what they are guiding. Not being necessarily the now because they like no they do not the fight. Mhm. Let's take a tour.
Whatever power you're seeing abused in Nigeria, whether that is judicial power, whether that is the power of the police, that of the DSS, the custom, the EFCC, all these abuses are obviously allowed by a system that is not structured to uphold the law. Impunity has become a culture with us. It's not just the persons in government. Musicians would have people picked up and locked up. Bankers would have people picked up and locked up. University proprietors, all kind of people up and down the length and breadth of Nigeria, traditional rulers, a rich man with no office, legislators happy slapping a person simply because he dared to ask questions. Impunity is the order of the day in our country because we are not subject to law. When you validate the oppression of one on account of your hatred or dislike of that one, you validate the use of the same impunity and oppression against yourself when it comes round to your turn.
The system, impunity, right? Listen to this one. Yeah, we'll join us together.
If you're a right-winger, you're angry at the government. This is a right-wing obsession, as you know. Anything goes wrong, it's the government. It's a wonderful arrangement for big business. Wonderful. Over the last 5 years of crisis, for example, the overwhelming majority of people who've been fired from their job have been fired by a private capitalist employer. And the overwhelming majority of people who've been thrown out of their home by foreclosure had the foreclosure process begun by a private capitalist bank. And who are the people angry at? The government. They leap right over the people who actually screwed them to blame someone else. If I were a corporate executive or a banker, I'd be very pleased with a system like this. I kick you, you get angry at somebody else. I kick you again, you get me more angry at them. This is wonderful. Why should I ever stop kicking you? Or maybe it's immigrants, or foreigners, or terrorists, or Muslims, or who knows? Scapegoats. And the left, not to be outdone, no better able to understand system despite what it says, has its scapegoats. The bankers, the Federal Reserve, the big businessmen, or the government, ever there, only now in reverse. The government didn't regulate enough. The government didn't do enough. It's the whoa, everything else other than an analysis of the system. The problem is the system. The way we relate to one another in producing goods and services, in distributing them, in parceling out the income that our output enables us to have. Oh, no, no. We're not going to look at all those relationships. Taboo. We look for scapegoats. And it shows up not only in the way we think, looking for who the bad guys are, right-wing bad guys, left-wing bad guys, we beat each other up over who the real bad guy is. Left-wing newspapers say it's not the poor people. Right-wing newspapers say it is the poor people. And then we have long debates about whether it is or it isn't the poor people. This is bizarre. And if there's no systemic critique, then there needs to be no systemic response. Nobody is going to say, change the system, because that's a taboo.
Language is also part of the system. But that's a conversation people don't want to have. Language is also part of the system. Najama, that's the way they happen for Belizo. You know, say, the same people will participate in helping the organs rig the election, and then they carry cutlass and gun, they follow themselves. So, you understand? We dey fight ourselves, but after the fight finish now, they go blame the governor. They go say na Monday Paolo rig election, or they go say na Asue, whatever it is. But they no go go fight them. They will call the fight. Yeah, you call the fight for streets. So those guys when they carry gun, they run up and down for Benin, they pursue people for court. So now the same guys now then rig the election. Now they fight. But collectively they will say now the guy where they fight for now be the problem. So that's one part. The other part, the system. The system is what we should be criticizing. That's why they talk say forget all these leaders. Once we start thinking a leader he will do the thing, then it's not going to work. The system now web, now like spider web, is spread. And that's what I was trying to tell Mori. You start from your small locality, you conquer that. You don't break that part of the system with that. Then you move to the next stage. But you are not organized, you are broke, you say you want to start from the top. Good luck. They will eat you alive. And nothing will happen. Because again, it's about interest, right? Yes. Wow. What is the probability that the poor people in Nigeria interest and the rich people in Nigeria interest will be at the same level? It was still the same thing I was trying to tell Amori when they asked me where my interest lies. It's in my stomach. But I don't think you fully understand what I mean. Because there can only be one president. People like them Atiku, people like them Dangote also have interest to who becomes the president. Me, I get interest. Whose interest you think is gonna win on the day? We'll be deceiving ourselves. Their interest is gonna win because they know what they motivate me. They know how far I can go, which is to carry cutlass or carry gun. But that would not change anything. So, but now together, collectiveness, when we put our shit together, then we stand a chance. Sorry. So, Najama, my question: as the Fulani conquered the Hausas in the north, but they couldn't conquer the language, is that a win? Two, the Hausas in Ghana, who conquered them? What's their story? Those in Central African Republic, what's their story? Because Hausa is the second largest spoken language in Africa, so they are everywhere. So on that front, I say make we even make the Hausa as a national language. And Jama, if you no agree, bring your Benin language, mo go vote, mo go contest, or you go to court. So maybe now some people say that because they don't have the north. could not have their way with Tinubu's tax bill because they don't they thought say they are going to make it as a priority now, going by what is coming out there. That's why they decided to, you know what? But I ain't got nothing wrong. I ain't got nothing, one thing against this proposal. Matter of fact, I will join anybody who wants to sponsor the bill. I will join that person. I will do the best I can. Anybody will come across this message and you know any move by any group, any who are trying to sponsor a bill to make Hausa as a national language, instruction language, or just the North, as Governor Bago suggests. I mean, I will scream that to high heavens. Come, something is not. Something is. I don't understand. What is going on with the Nigerian military? The rate where they just give them bad news. It's not something is not something is happening. But most importantly, this one where everybody just wake up overnight begin talk about January 15, 1966, where the coup. How we talking about the coup? I mean, what's it seems as if there's an agenda going on here. All right. Yes, I know some of the people of the government, and then they tweet about them. But what is today? Today, Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Because I see Konko, so we will never forget the price you pay so we can live in freedom. Konko, so applaud Armed Forces. Today, na Armed Forces Day. She say, yeah, I like all these politicians. I like Konko, so I like the way they do your thing. It's very timely, conscious. Because I just most of the headline what they see regarding military now, especially the foreign ones, how military take in civilians. I mean, even saw the interview of chief of staff Abi where they want to do cool down for that Shena CNN Abi SF. So there's so many new headlines come towards the military that are really not. Now only conclusion are trying to say something positive about them. US, US pass bill banning transgender athletes in male female sports. Darlington don't come out. Darlington is out. I think that's it. I will go Doctor. Sorry, not Doctor Damage. I'll go one man show because you need to explain. I don't understand why he go sit down for Kent. One small boy will come collect Alaafin of Oyo from his hand. I thought he is to be the one on the next intro. So I go one go in show go ask her make he explain. I is the most famous Oyo son I know. Where in the way that they bring that guy from Canada took over his rightful throne. I never see person promote Oyo as much as one man does. I thought I would just forget the call, but you're actually did there. Like him, he's so proud of Oyo being from Oyo. So now, so you need to come and explain. You need to. I need the explanation why he go lost the throne to Kilo Nkwensin, or your, make I say waiting the talk. Say, Alaafin, I am not upset with supporters that abandon me for money. What the heck? And the other one will lose with that. You don't get money, now you want to be king. I got this is the day 1772. One of the contenders for the Alaafin of Oyo throne, Prince Ayobami Ladigbolu, has reflected on his experience during the contest for the crown. Report that the Labudolu is a statement published on Facebook on Tuesday expressed disappointment that some of his initial supporters abandoned him in favor of a candidate due to financial constraints. The prince said he is not angry with those who abandoned him because of money, but has learned his value in one's life. Well, you have to say something, so I get it. But you ain't saying shit. I am not against Europeans, Shehu Kuti. You hungry go beat you now if you are against them. How you want to go against them? We be say 99% of your earnings is still coming from Europe. Try na. Hunger go finish you. You can see what them talk. Afrobeat musician Shehu Kuti has stated that contrary to public belief that it's against Euro colonialism and not European people. How you I don't know people they I don't know, sir. I don't know how they listen to people. Not be everybody everything where everybody they talk they believe and I don't, just like what do you I mean somebody lifestyle. This man lives in Europe pretty much, even though in the Lagos. That's where you go tour in Europe. That tour where they do now the money way they survive. Then the person will come and tell you say he hates the West, he hates this person, he hates it. Then if you believe that then at your own peril. He argued that his critique of European colonialization should be misinterpreted as hatred for European people. What's the difference between? But anyway, carry on. The singer, who is known for his strong stance against imperialism and corruption, explained that his stand is not directed at the European people. Speaking via a post on his Instagram page, Kuti argued that many Europeans have been Nigerian ally in the fight against greed and unfair system. He said, I am not against European colonialization and imperialism and that. Let's continue with my brain. Listen to the guy, take his lecture to work, do your own work, and filter through. APC deploy maxed up talks to shoot disrupt tribunal. PDP. Najama, now what did you talk about with that? The People Democratic Party in Edo State has accused All Progressive Congress of sending talks to disrupt the sitting of APC of sending talks to disrupt the sitting of the Edo Tribunal election. Cool crap. Let's see. Gunshots were fired near the venue of Justice Wilfred Bochi led three-member Edo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal Wednesday morning, sending lawyers, litigants, politicians, and reporters scramble for safety. The unexpected violence caused widespread panic as many people fled in fear of being struck by stray bullets. The disturbance occurred at the Edo High Court complex on Sapele Road, Benin, where the tribunals were convened. Statement say pray tell, say pray tell. Why would the PDP attempt to disrupt the only opportunity it has to reclaim the mandates given to it by the people of Edo State during the last leadership election? Hi, people. This guy mesmerize themselves. But that's not the last of it, Najama. You will see here more. You still go hear more. I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go. But I'll be back in the Chiefy. See you later.